Howdy, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to listen to the Ropes Family Podcast. Before we get into the episode, I just wanted to explain a few things. We had some friends from a missionary organization come on our podcast, and we interviewed them about what it looks like to be that. But we had to mute some things out, names and locations, just to protect their identity and the mission, the ministry that they do. So if you hear things cutting in and out, it's because of that. And we thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Here's the episode. Well, welcome back to the Ropes Family Podcast. And last week I mentioned that we'd have some special guests on. And today we have, actually, I'll let you guys introduce kind of what you guys do so I don't say it the wrong way. We also have Courtney here with us, and we just have we have some special people. So do you guys mind introducing yourselves?
I'm not special, just them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. So we are Kevin and Lauren, and we serve in Southeast Asia.
Okay,
and we've been there about 8 years with the International Mission Board.
Okay, so our church has sent a few teams there over the last couple of years to help you guys out, to kind of come alongside you in ministry. But kind of the first kind of question I had for you guys is, can you kind of give us some background of how you got to Southeast Asia? Like, what was it, a special call? Was one of you called, and then, or can you kind of give us a background of that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll let Lauren take this one.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Our story, I think, kind of starts with me. I grew up in Lubbock, and the church I went to was very missional, and so I had an opportunity to go on my first mission trip when I was 8 years old. My dad took me, and we went to Mexico. And so from an early age, I just had a love for missions, a heart for missions. My dad instilled that in me. The Word of God instilled that in me. And as I grew up, I always prayed that my husband would also be called to the mission field. However, Kevin had not had that same opportunity, but he was very open to it, and he had a love for people, and he was very interested in it. And so after we got married, we began to pray about it, and the Lord just opened the door. And the first time we moved to Southeast Asia, we moved for 2 years, and it was actually Kevin's first time overseas. So he took a big plunge in going for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. He went big.
Yeah. I didn't grow up in a church that overseas missions, or really even local missions, was a thing. At our church, when we would do a mission trip, it was like, we're going to go to the next county over, and we're going to paint a school, and we're not going to talk to anybody.
Okay.
Which, that's a good thing. I mean, service projects and compassion projects are great, but I didn't grow up with the idea of going somewhere else to share the gospel with someone who may have never heard a gospel witness. So like Lauren said, when we went overseas the first time for 2 years, it was my first time to be overseas, but also be surrounded by people who had never even heard the name of Jesus.
Wow. And so the first time you went was in the same place you're in now, or is it a different place?
It is. We were in the same city in Southeast Asia that we are now.
Okay. Awesome. And so you didn't really have the background, or were you aware of mission? I know what you said, that you kind of went to and painted a school, or use that as an example. But was it a foreign thing to you to be like, oh, people go and do this?
It was very foreign to me, because I always thought missions was service projects, or it was things like compassion, where you're going and you're helping someone's physical needs, which those are good things, and those are needed things. But I didn't grow up with the idea of being evangelical, using those opportunities to be evangelical and sharing the gospel. And so God had given me an interest in people and culture and language and all of these things. And so I tried to pursue it through school. I went to Texas Tech and studied history and museum studies, anthropology, different things like that, thinking, okay, this is why God has given me that specific interest. And when I was at Tech, I met Lauren, and she was getting ready to go overseas for the whole summer to be in Kenya. Wow. And that was the first time I really started wrestling with, why would she do that for her summer break? and then just really kind of reflecting on like, could I do that? Could I go somewhere that I've never been, learn a language and share the gospel with someone? And I think that was the beginning of my journey to being called.
So can you kind of walk me through like the calling process of like, did you know where you were wanting to go, or you guys, I guess you can walk through you said IMB, right? Can you kind of walk us through the IMB's like selection process, or how you guys got to where you were specifically, I guess?
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, I think it's probably changed a little bit since when we went through 8 years ago. So no one quote us on what we're about to share.
It's not the exact same.
It's not the exact same anymore. But basically, you go through an application process, and you have interviews, references that you turn in, health checks. There's a lot of just things that they ask you. And then after that process, you're invited to an interview conference where you're interviewed some more. And then they basically have like a job fair. At the time, they had books from all over the world of needs in those different countries. But it was funny because when we went, we said no Asia. Like, absolutely not, which is funny because they always say never tell God what you're not going to do, because that's where you'll end up.
Yeah, but they encouraged us to, if we felt a specific call to a specific part of the world, to kind of focus on just those jobs. Yeah. And so since she had been to Africa, which, Africa's a huge place, an entire continent, she had been to one country in Africa. Yeah. And so we thought, okay, well, we'll look at jobs in Africa. And, I know a little bit of Spanish, so we'll look at jobs in South America. And I'll never forget, at that point, and my journey, my idea of a missionary was someone that's going to go to like the jungle and be off grid forever, and
with like a sword.
Yeah.
And you're
so they shared about a job with us, and it was called River Racer, and it was in the Amazon jungle, and you were literally going up and down the river in a boat, trying to find these people groups and trying to find ways to engage them with the gospel. And they said, there's going to be days where, you don't have food. You may have to fish for food. You may have to hunt for food. You'll be sleeping in a hammock or a tent. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm in. Yeah. And then the guy at the table was kind of like, you might want to talk to your wife, because she doesn't look like she's in.
I wasn't as in.
She was not in. But this same guy, kind of how we ended up thinking about Southeast Asia, this same guy said, he said, do you like big cities? We were like, well, we've never lived in a big city before. We're both from smallish towns. And he said, well, do you like college students? And at the time, we had just finished grad school, so we were like, yeah, we like college students. And he said, well, would you consider going to Southeast Asia? And at first, we were both kind of like, no.
I couldn't even say the name of the city we were looking at.
Yeah. But God just put people in our path that had been to that specific city or that part of the world and talked just about their experiences there. And we just felt like, okay, maybe God is calling us to this specific place. So
it was like one after another of people we had met that had gone there. So we just really felt like the Lord kept affirming it in many different ways, even though we were probably being a little stubborn. Yeah. He kept affirming it. So
yeah. I love it when the Lord affirms things and just kind of puts things in place, like, this is what I have this whole time for you, and you just gotta, you'll get there. He just kind of keep nudges you. I guess I have a couple things that I wanted to ask you. Courtney, did you have anything you want to interject? Do you want to share a little bit, like maybe a story or something from when you were there? Maybe what you ate. I know we've shared it on the podcast before, but
everything was completely normal.
Weird at all.
I've been twice, and then we go again next summer. But we ate rat, field rat though, organic field
delicious.
Rat.
Yeah.
And then water buffalo / dog.
/dog.
Might have been dog.
Might have been dog.
Like, is it like mixed in, or was it probably a dog?
It was probably a dog.
Probably dog.
That's good.
But we found that after we ate it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's after the fact. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah.
Doesn't matter then.
I guess could you guys walk us through a day in the life of what you guys do?
Yeah, I think it's hard because that is a question that we get a lot. People want to know, like, what is a day in the life of a missionary? And I think it varies day to day.
Yeah.
And some days it probably doesn't look very different from, being here. We've got the kids have school. They've got
After-school activities.
But usually there is some part of our day where one or both of us are out in the community and either having coffee with a pastor or meeting up with someone to share more about the gospel. And so some days are heavier on the ministry side of things, or as far as, evangelism, discipleship, and meetings and things like that. But I mean, really, I think as a family, we have realized that even just being a family and time with our kids and time together and being out in the community together is also ministry.
Yeah.
And so just trying to view it that way has been really helpful.
Yeah, our kids give us lots of opportunities to talk to people. We can take them to the park, and people want to know about them and talk to them, and then we can talk to them because their kids are talking to our kids, and so it's an open door to make new relationships and to share Christ with them as the door opens. Language learning, we spend a lot of time learning the local language, especially our first 2.5 years on the field. We spent a lot of time doing that. And we also do emails, send out prayer requests, expense reports, and administrative type things. And we also try to host things for our team. So we have team prayer times. We have women's prayer time, men's prayer time, a whole team prayer time. And then also just meeting with our different teammates to see how we can support them, encourage them. What do they need to be successful or fruitful in their ministry, and how can we walk alongside of them as well. We also love spending time with local churches as well. As the Lord opens those doors, we will go and try to invest in the local believers and cast vision for them.
So you guys work with a team. Is there like a team of a couple families, or how does that really, are there like different programs like Journeyman and I don't know the next one, or the college one right before, I don't remember but do you guys have those different types in your team? We do. We've got 5 families currently right now that are, I guess 4 of them are considered career families that are there long term. We have one man who's kind of retired age, but he is a different pathway where it's like a 2 to 3 year assignment. And so he's there on our team now. And in the next year, we're going to be having another career family, a single girl who's coming 2 to 3 year assignment, and then another family that's coming 2 to 3 year assignment. And then kind of a new thing that the IMB has is what they call team associate, and it's people that move to the mission field and their support is generated from them working. So we've actually got a couple on our team now that is like bivocational.
Yeah. So one of them teaches English, one of them teaches dance, and so that's kind of their way of supporting themselves and being on the field. But they are full members of our team, so it's kind of a neat
that's
pathway.
cool.
Are they fully supported by themselves, or do they have to like support Raise, or is it IMB?
So for them specifically, their church has a line item in their budget specifically for them.
Cool.
I think it's half and half for them.
Yeah, but other families do have to kind of go off the field if they're on that pathway and raise money to make up whatever they're not making from their job overseas.
And then I guess speaking of that, kind of coming off the field, so you guys are here in the States on furlough, not furlough is the right word, or furlough is the right word. So you guys have to come back every couple years or so for a little bit of time. Is that for like visa reasons, or for like just restorative reasons, or just do you guys have an answer for that, or is that a crazy question?
No, it's not a crazy question. So the way the IMB works is you can serve for 2 years, come back for 3 months, serve for 3 years, come back 6 months, or serve for 4 years, come back for a year. Different people do it for different reasons. I know in Europe there's a country they have to be there for 4 years because of their visa, and then they have to be out of the country for an entire year. So a lot of them do the 4 years, 1 year. We like to do the 3 years, 5 or 6 months, and it is a time just to reconnect with churches here in the States and go and just share what the Lord is doing. And then also restorative time. You know, we did join a gym since we've been here, so we're trying to exercise more.
Create some new healthy habits.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we're still working online, and we connect with people overseas in our morning and evening times. So we're still working some. It's not as much, but then we're also connecting with churches while we're here too.
So you guys are still kind of working with your team, connecting, make sure everything's kind of just staying in the loop with it. So it's not like you're just abandoning your post or whatever. So that's a cool thing. Yeah. It's really cool. And the reason why I asked like the day in the life of what you guys do is my job is so crazy as a youth pastor. Today I climbed a tree. That's part of my job is I climbed a tree. I got a football out of a tree. But some days my job is, you know, going and hanging out with kids or going climbing trees or painting walls or, you know. Yeah. So I figured you guys had a very similar kind of thing where you don't know exactly what you're going to do every single day. You know, it's just kind of wherever the wind takes you or wherever God takes you that day.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then we go really hard when we have teams come, you know, going out. We sometimes do really special things when teams are there. We're able to do more because we have more people, like VBSs and outreaches and things like that. So, yeah, again, ebbs and flows. You never know. You may end up eating rat that day.
That's great.
And it is funny. We've tried, because one of the best ways that we can recruit people to come join our team is people that have been on trips before, that have been there and seen what's going on in the ministry, what it looks like. And it's funny because some people come and they're exhausted, obviously, because you're going every day. There's something or multiple somethings that you're doing. And I always have to explain to people, I was like, if you were here longer term, this would be like a couple weeks out of the year that would be like this.
Yeah.
So like, don't let that be a deterrent.
It's not that full stop all the time.
Right.
You know, it's like youth camp, but like on steroids.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
it's like it's like. So Courtney, did you have a question about teams and stuff, or
Yes, but I was going to say first.
Go ahead. Sorry,
my son that came 2 years ago is coming back, but he's been learning the language, so he's been working really hard to do that. He can say like one sentence right now, but we're working. But I'm afraid missions. That's not the right words. I'm not afraid, sort of, that missions are where he's going to go. But I'm pretty sure it is.
That's really cool.
No, my question is like mission team expectations. Like you have so many different kinds. Like we do VBS type stuff. Is it hard to like find stuff for all of these different people that come help y'all? Or is it hard? I mean,
No,
or
that's
is
a
it
good
just
question. I don't think it's hard.
That's a good question.
I don't think it's hard, but we do try to adapt things based off of like the skills that the team is bringing. And so some teams are more heavy evangelism. We've had a team come with more older folks, and they helped us with a Thanksgiving party and cook the meal and set that up and talk to people. Some people want to stay in the city more. Some want to go out on an adventure. And so we do try to tailor things a little bit for each team. But I think there's always something to do.
But honestly, I mean, teams coming over is such an important part of what we do because it gives us opportunities to make new partnerships with churches that we might not have had otherwise, because we're coming in with a team, sometimes with a program like a VBS or a sports camp or
Christmas outreach,
something that they wouldn't be able to do normally. And so it really helps us build relationships with new churches in new areas in and outside of our city.
That's great. So I guess one of my big kind of topics I wanted to talk about was kind of your tactics, like the way you guys look at how do you go about doing ministry in your area. Like, I know you have different ways. Like some days you'll meet with pastors, or some days you'll be more. But what is like the overarching theme or way you want to go in the way you do it?
Yeah. The IMB actually has kind of 6 main categories of things that are a part of what we do. And so one of those is, the first one is entry. So we're always trying to find entry points to new areas of our city and of our country. new people groups that we can work with, new population segments, students or young professionals or whatever, just trying to find those entry points. So there's a lot of research involved in that, a lot of looking at maps and trying to figure out what direction we want to go. The second one is evangelism. And so obviously we want to get to a place where we can share a meaningful gospel presentation with as many people as we can. The third is discipleship. We focus a lot of time on intentional discipleship and trying to help churches and pastors develop, one-on-one or small group discipleship where they're discipling someone and then that person's also discipling another person, and just trying to create that DNA in churches. And then the fourth is leadership development. So we want to train new leaders, and we actually have a seminary that just opened just this last year. It's a First Baptist seminary in our whole country.
Yeah.
And so we now have a process to train new pastors and leaders for the next generation of churches.
Wow.
And then the next is the fifth is healthy church reproduction. So we want formation. Yeah, we want more churches to be started because of the first four things: the evangelism, discipleship, and healthy church or leadership development. And then, Lord willing, that will fuel healthy church reproduction. And then the last step, which sounds counterintuitive, is exit. We want to eventually be able to not be needed.
Yeah.
We want to work ourselves out of a job because the locals are doing it. They're doing all of those other things. So we're not needed anymore. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of the
tactic,
tactics that we use for ministry.
And I would say Kevin worked really hard on that this last term. He took a map of our city and segmented it off, and he had a teammate help him. They found where we think are existing churches and where they're not churches, and he made a map, and then he segmented our city into 6 different parts. And so our goal is to have a ministry hub, a place where active ministry is happening in each strategic segment of the city. So right now we have 2 out of the 6 have a ministry hub going, and we're praying for more.
So on as far as evangelism side, so when you guys are just going and walk, do you guys just go and walk down the street? Or I know, did you guys have a coffee cart or something at some point?
We did it one time.
Yeah, one time. Okay. And
I guess we technically still have it.
Yeah. So Donovan had told us about this coffee cart, and I guess we thought it was way more than what you guys actually had. I guess you didn't. We thought you were out doing it all the time, I guess, or he did, that's how I understood it. But so you guys tried that, and it just wasn't as.
Well, it's funny. I feel like we had a coffee cart, but then the Lord gave us a coffee shop.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Courtney has been too, and so we do a lot of our ministry out of this coffee shop.
Oh, good.
That a teammate has.
One of the big challenges, at least in our country where we serve, is having a place to do ministry. Because if we're just out, on the street or doing something like that, it's going to cause a lot of eyes to be on it and more chance of maybe getting in trouble for what we're doing.
Yeah, okay.
So,
makes sense.
Originally, the coffee cart idea was that we were going to set it up near parks or near places where people were already kind of gathering and just park our coffee cart and just use that as an opportunity to create conversations. And it worked really well. And in fact, we ended up hiring a believer who kind of the idea was that he would be going in different parts of the city and using that as a way to share the gospel with lots of different people. So that eventually kind of came to an end. He found other work, and we found the coffee shop through a teammate of ours. He started it, and now we have a place that's dedicated for ministry, and we don't have to go all around the city, which is nice.
And you guys don't have was there a guise or something that kind of covered what you were doing? We're learning other language or something, and so you come teach us the language, and we'll give you coffee or something. Is that how that works? Or is that how you do it at the coffee shop too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That was how the coffee cart worked, and now at the coffee shop, every night of the week there's something different going on. It might be an English club, board game night. We have a Korean culture night because we have a Korean American on our team, and so anything we can think of that might draw a crowd, we'll put it on a schedule and invite people to come.
Cool. And so how do you promote that stuff? Do you do that through social media, or do you do it through?
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of digital engagement and running ads on Facebook. So
cool.
we can run an ad in a targeted part of our city. So if we only want it to run in this area, we can focus it on that, and we can focus it on young people or college students or whoever we want. So we can run an ad for an event and people will see it. We have an art workshop, and we advertise for that one quite a bit, where people have to click a link and then sign up and register. We've had success with that some, and then other times we have teams who are there. We'll go out and invite people and say, hey, come tonight. We're going to have an English club. Come hang out. I'd love to see you. And we've had a lot of success with that too.
Did one of our teams do like a photography thing? It did it, and it happened there. And Courtney, you kind of did that, or you and Donovan?
Yes, we did it both times we were there. We did a photography workshop, and the last one was really, I felt like it was a success. Yeah. There was a lot of people there.
And so you use that, and then you hope kind of other conversations come out of that. Right. Okay, I like that.
So, anytime someone comes to an event, our goal is to get them plugged into what we call the community chat. And so we have these chats that go out, or these updates that go out every week about the schedule of things going on.
Oh, cool.
And so people that have attended an event then will get invitations to come to other things where they're going to come into contact with people from our team, local believers that are strategically kind of placed in every event to start conversations and try to meet people.
And Donovan would say stuff like while we were editing pictures or talking about stuff, he would say something about the gospel or.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean that opens doors. I think that the way that it looks like from the outside, from me, my perspective, looking at what you guys do, it's very grassroots. Like you're just digging through, trying to find people to have persons of peace, right? Is that what you're looking for? I've been on one or two mission trips, and that's kind of what they find, the person of peace to kind of be able to take the next steps, and then hopefully, take them through the 6 steps that you talked about. I think that's
a much better way of putting it. A person of peace. In several team meetings, I've called it just throwing all of it at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah. That doesn't sound quite as nice.
Professional.
I mean, it makes sense. It works.
But we're trying to be creative and
And then too, from there, a lot of times then we'll try to do probably 3 or 4 big holiday parties. So we'll try to do something big at Easter, huge Christmas outreach, and there's probably 2 or 3 more throughout the year that we try to focus on. And at those events, the gospel is shared much more openly and clearly.
Yeah, and usually people receive some sort of either a Bible or a tract or something like that clearly spells out the gospel for them.
And so you guys have Bibles in the language there.
We do. We've got a couple of different translations of the Bible.
Oh, cool. That's really cool. I guess one of the questions that I had, and this was me listening to a podcast and hearing this thought, and I immediately thought this would be something cool to talk about. It's about cultural paradigms, and so I don't know if where you guys are serving has a different paradigm than we do. So a cultural paradigm is like the U.S. kind of has a right and wrong. Like we operate out of what is right and what is wrong. And other places, they like India, for instance, is probably clean and unclean. I want to do things I don't want to do things that make me unclean. I want to stay clean. Or honor, shame. Kind of, will this bring me honor? This bring me shame? And I don't know in Southeast Asia what the kind of paradigm is there, or if it's any different than here.
Yeah, that's a great question. Where we are,
it's a little bit in the weeds. I'm sorry, but
no, that's great. That's a great question. Where we are, it's a little bit influenced from different worldviews. So there's a Buddhism influence, and then there's also like a cultural religion influence. So worshiping ancestors and doing things like that.
And Catholicism.
There's Catholicism, there's Confucianism. So it really is just this kind of melting pot of different things.
Okay.
And what that's created is there is this overarching idea of right and wrong.
Okay.
But it's a little bit different than what we would think of, because their idea of right and wrong is I'm trying to do good things in my life to kind of store them up so that they're more than the bad things that I've done.
Yeah.
So they do have a concept of like morally good things and morally not good things. And their whole hope, I guess you can't even really call it a hope, because they're never really sure, because they just are hoping that their good is more than their bad. And that will determine what their afterlife is like.
So like their works-based kind of things.
And so they're trying to build merit. And so we've used that as a gospel tool to try to talk about the hope we have in Christ, the assurity we have in Christ that he's taken all of the bad for us. The interesting thing, though, is that idea of someone paying the price for you is really effective and powerful in most right and wrong cultures, like the U.S. The Billy Graham Crusades and all of those things focused very heavily on the price that Jesus has paid. But in our context, it's actually they don't want someone else to pay it because it's my merit.
Yeah.
I have to build the merit. And if it's not mine if someone else did it for me. And so it's not really attractive to them, which is really weird, because for us, we're just like, wow, how could you say no to such a free gift?
And so how do you go about tackling that? I know it's a difficult question, but how do you go about that? Like it's more than just a conversation, but.
Right. So one tool that we use is called 4 visits. And so the idea is most Southeast Asians are very, very relational. And so to share something with them that's so spiritually deep the first time you've met them is usually not going to mean a whole lot to them.
Okay.
So what we try to do is we try to share gradually over 4 visits. And those visits could be in the same week. It doesn't have to be over a long period of time. It's just, the first conversation may be more just getting to know them. Second is more about their family, your job, things like that. And then by the 3rd and 4th visit, you're sharing a little bit more deep spiritual truths. And we found that by the end of that, people are a lot more willing to at least maybe study the Bible with us and see for themselves what's different about the Bible, what's different about Christianity. And so I'd say that's probably the most fruit we've had is from the long-term relationships. Because if we don't have that, just sharing someone at the park, they might believe, and we've had people believe, but usually it's people that God has kind of ordained because they've heard the gospel before from someone else, and God just placed them in the right place at the right time. And they heard it again. They're like, you know what? I do want to believe that.
Yeah.
And so, but that's kind of, it doesn't happen that often. It's usually more through relationships.
Multiple encounters. And them reading the Word of God for themselves. I feel like the Scriptures open their hearts and God reveals himself to them through that. And so, if we can get them to read the Bible with us too, that helps a lot.
And a funny thing, this isn't really about cultural paradigms, but it is people in Southeast Asia, a lot of them want to learn English. And so they're trying to find ways to practice their English or learn vocabulary words, and especially if it's free. And so we've seen a lot of success in offering English classes through Bible storying, because then they're getting their own Bible, they're reading the stories, and the Word of God has power.
Yeah.
And so them reading it on their own, even though it was so they could practice their English or learn English, we've seen a lot of people come to faith through that.
Really? That's awesome. So what's the cultural pushback? Do you guys ever experience like, hey, get this out of here, I don't want anything to do? I'm sure you guys have, but is there any like pushback like that when you guys are having these 4 conversations, or, I don't know, maybe you can share something like that?
Yeah, I think
they're pointing back and forth. Which one's to share?
I think
Ancestor worship
is the biggest hurdle to the gospel. And so we often say that no matter what religion somebody in our country where we serve tells you they are, whether they say Catholic or Buddhist or I'm no religion, 99% of people in our country practice some form of ancestor worship. So that means that they're they're putting incense and offerings on an altar that they believe is going to their loved ones that have passed away, because they believe that's the only way that they can give their loved ones a good afterlife. They have to provide the things for them.
And they'll even burn like paper cars, paper money, paper clothes, paper houses, and they believe those things. Like if I burned a paper house, that house is going to go to the afterlife for my loved ones to live in.
Right.
Wow.
And so probably the biggest pushback we get is, if I believe in Jesus, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because Catholicism has told them in our country that it's okay to keep doing that. Buddhism has told them it's okay to keep doing that. Even if they say they're no religion, they do that because they don't consider it a religion. They consider it just a cultural belief.
Okay.
And so when they actually are encountered with the gospel, they realize, oh, so you're saying worship is only for God, so what I'm doing for my ancestors I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
And so we try to navigate that kindly and patiently with them, because it is the biggest hurdle to people believing, because it's like telling their parents that are still living or their grandparents, hey, I don't care what happens to you when you die.
Oh, yeah.
Because their grandparents, their parents fully believe that their kids are going to take care of them and maintain the family altar when they're gone. And for their kids to say, well, I follow Jesus now, it's their parents. There's a lot of persecution that comes from that, from the family, because you're essentially telling them, I don't really care. And so we've seen a lot of believers that essentially get disowned by their families because it's such a foreign idea.
Yeah. And that's I think that's pretty. Sorry, there's lots of kids running around, so I'm making sure that wasn't my kid. I don't think that was my kid. Is that yours? Okay. Sorry for people listening. There's kids in the background. So I can only imagine having to walk somebody through that, like what you've been practicing this whole time. It's not right. And, or, hey, believing in Jesus means that you may have to turn away from taking care of your ancestors, or tell your parents, like, I don't care what happens to you after you die. But I think the hope that you can give them is, hey, you can share this same message, and we can be, we can go to the same place after all this. But I can just imagine how tough of an obstacle that could be sometimes.
Yeah, and for a while, our country was on the world watch list for like the top 25 most persecuted countries in the world, and it wasn't really from a government or a police standpoint. It was from family, because so many families were disowning their children and even being violent towards their family members or their children that had turned to Christ.
So this is kind of going back to your day-to-day life. So you guys, this is a family discipleship podcast, so we kind of focus on family things. So could you guys give us maybe something that you guys do as a family to how do you disciple your kids? How do you disciple your family? How do you disciple each other? Do you guys do anything specific, or is it you guys just bring them along with all of you said you brought your kids along to help have conversations, but is there an intentional time in your family where you guys kind of practice? Like we've talked about family worship before. Yeah. And we do those things, but do you guys do something like that?
Sure. We do homeschool our kids. In our city specifically, there is not a lot of schooling options, and so we do homeschool our kids, but we've really grown to love it. And a big part of it is for that reason. Every day we try to start with prayer, reading a Bible story. We pray for a different people group. So there's a great app called, I think it's Unreached of the Day. Yeah, Unreached of the Day. I think it's by the Joshua Project. And so I show the girls a picture of the person, the name of the people group, where they live, thrown in some geography there, where is this country, and then we talk about, there's no Christians or there's no Bible in these people groups, so we pray for them. This year I'm using Tiny Theologians. Have you heard of them and their material? They've got some great family discipleship materials. So I think we started with Tiny Apologetics with Riley this year. So we do a lesson, Monday through Thursday when we're doing school.
You guys have 2 girls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay, and so you walk them through that each day and kind of.
Yeah, and
I
it's
like
just
the idea
small
of the
things,
apologetics thing. That's pretty neat.
Check out Tiny Theologians online. They've got some great family discipleship materials for all ages. And we don't do the whole lesson every day. We'll
Yeah.
just break it into smaller chunks that are, age appropriate.
And before that, we were doing it's a book. I mean, it looks like the word theology, but it's broken up into two words, and it's called Theology, and it's for kids, and it breaks down different really complicated doctrines like the Trinity, like the Holy Spirit, different things like that, but it puts it in kids' language that they can understand. That's actually helpful for us too sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
it's like a
"What?"
refresher. Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
I didn't think about it like that.
And so it's really neat the way they do their material.
Yeah, and that's by Marty Makowski, I think. You can find his materials on Amazon. He's got several books and Bible studies that are really good too.
I'm going to look into that for my children's area.
Yeah, I think think that'd be good for us and our kids.
Yeah,
us
or
and
my
our
family.
kids. I think that would be a good thing. We do things a little different. Sometimes we'll sing a song, we'll read a Bible study. Sometimes we're so exhausted that all we can do is read
Sure.
the Bible story.
Yeah.
Maybe read a Bible verse or two or a passage. Just make sure we're doing it. But I think having something a little structured and looking into that would be something really good.
Yeah. I would say previously, like, church was hard and our kids haven't had a lot of experience like going to church. But probably in the last 2 years, year or two, our team has started meeting for church twice a month together. And then we have a lesson. One of us takes the kids and we do a lesson for the kids. And so that has been really good for our kiddos. And then our 7-year-old has really loved being in the States and being involved in their children's ministry at church.
Oh, yeah.
But that's very new to her. That's, not something she normally experiences. So she's really been enjoying that.
Yeah.
So being on the mission field is a family thing, and it's something that, I think God really shows you guys a lot of, I don't know if grace is the right word, but He really takes care of you guys, and I can see it from, and I've only had this 44-minute conversation with you guys, and I can see how evident it is in how God takes care of you guys and puts you in the places you need to go, and I think that that's very applicable for people here in the States, is that God is going to, if we are pursuing Him, God's going to help us do these things to help disciple our kids, to help raise up another generation. But so as a church here in Ropesville, Texas, how can we as a church support you guys on your ministry? I know we go on trips and go, but are there other specific ways that we can help you guys out?
Oh, we love Ropesville Church, First Baptist Ropesville.
We do.
You guys are awesome. You guys are a giving church, a praying church, and a going church. Y'all are one of our favorite churches to work with.
Absolutely.
You guys have some family ties here, right? Mm-hmm. Sort of.
We do.
My grandparents went here for many years. I should have looked up the numbers.
It's okay.
Before we came.
You don't need it. But yeah, you guys have, so it's,
I think 40 years,
Yeah.
50 years. They were
We're here a long time.
here a long time.
who is it?
The Pettits.
The Pettits, yeah.
Yeah, Pete
so,
and Charlene Pettit.
yeah, they are staples in our church's history. If you've been here a while, you know them. So I got to know them for a little while, and then they, but it's been a pleasure having you guys on. Do you guys want to share anything else, or do you guys have anything?
Well, no, I mean, you mentioned the Pettits, but actually that's Pete, Lauren's grandfather, is a huge part of why I think Ropesville is connected to what we do on the field. Because he made sure before we were headed to the field that we met Donovan. And it wasn't a month after we arrived on the field that Donovan came on kind of like a fact-finding trip, the first trip. And so, I mean, I really believe that Pete made that happen. So,
Yeah, I think that those connections, and it's crazy how God works in those times.
absolutely.
Just like, how things work. I know that's really cool. Courtney, do you have anything?
How's Carl?
Carl is good.
Carl is Carl.
Carl is Carl.
We think Carl may move home
he's-
though in January.
He's
We're kinda
considering moving
sad
home.
about that.
However, just this past Sunday, he brought a friend, like a university friend, to church, and friend prayed to receive Christ. So
That is awesome.
it is awesome. So
We miss Carl.
Who's
we
Carl?
talk about him all the time.
I'd like to know.
He's our friend.
I'd like to know Carl.
He's our friend Carl.
You would love Carl. You
Everyone
need to
loves
come
Carl.
This summer, and you can meet Carl.
Yeah.
Even if Carl's not there, we will go to Carl's hometown.
No, we
So
are
you
going
can
to
meet
see Carl.
He lives at the beach.
That I'm in. Yes.
I tried to kind of talk to Allison about going. Allison,
She said no.
Allison's having a baby. I don't know if you guys knew that.
No.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And so
Allison's
she
not coming with us.
Yeah, so
Oh,
she
well,
won't.
congratulations.
Yeah, and so she's not gonna able to go, and she's like, "Do not leave me here with these 4 kids by myself." So, so
No one has broke this information to us
Yeah.
yet. That Allison's not coming.
we're not going to have a crab on the.
yeah,
We're gonna have very few of us.
yeah. I think there's 6 of you guys going. It's the same amount,
Yeah.
right?
No, we had 8 last year.
I'm sorry.
7 last year.
I'm happy you're having a baby, but I'm sad Allison can't
That's
come.
what I said too.
Yeah, it was just one of those like the timing wasn't quite right. So
I said it's the cheapest time to bring a baby.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for a ticket.
No, it flies free. Let's go.
The baby can stay with me.
That we've already said we could like pass that baby around.
You'd have so much help.
How about this? We'll just send the 3
I gotta talk to her about
the 3 crabs, the 3 little ones, and we'll
I'm
just
gonna
send
say the
them,
baby.
and we'll get a little bit of a break.
I don't know,
And we'll get
toddlers
to
on that long flight. It's a little rough.
I mean, my toddler just
Me on
locked
that long
himself in
flight.
a room, so that was the problem we just had. So, so we like to end every podcast with a family challenge, and we usually come up with it on the spot. Do you have one, Courtney?
I was gonna say pray for Southeast Asia, pray for the Thackers, pray for our team as we go this summer.
And I would like to add, maybe consider looking into mission opportunities that you may have. You know,
Yeah, take your kids. Even local trips, things in the state, start small. But parents, you are shaping and modeling for your kids, and they can be future missionaries, if you take them along and show them what it's about. So
and for some people, future missionary sounds really scary. Right?
Terrifying.
You just said that, right?
Terrifying.
But even
you know,
future
or future leaders.
believers that are
Yeah.
praying for missions, that are giving
Or
to
giving,
missions and things like that. That's so important too.
But I think if God has that call for them, it's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. God will work through them and take care of them, and I think it'll be a good thing. So that's your family challenge. Pray for Southeast Asia, pray for the Thackers, and look into some mission opportunities.
And the team coming next June.
And the team coming next June. I thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, don't forget us.
All right, that's all we got this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for coming and being on. We're looking forward to Sunday. You guys are going to share as well. So looking forward to it. It's going to be good. We'll see you later. Peace.